I'm not sleeping until we've got that belt back. I know everybody's laughing as how Dricus was exposed. I'm a bad loser. Dricus is a bad loser. It's going to take whatever it takes for us to get that belt back. ASAP. It's not going to be a long story.
Kind of overlooked. They didn't take it that serious. They felt, okay, we survived one, we're good. But to get to, you got to survive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you just couldn't.
That sounded like a boring fight. It was a cage, Rog. Now Chimaev, everyone knew the first round was going to be before that. What we didn't expect was Chimaev's ability to do that for 25. That was mind-blowing. He is the most purest build I've ever seen. He put all his stat points in.
It was like, I get this. He gets this.
Khamzat Chimaev delivered a spectacular and dominant performance at UFC 319, capturing his first UFC championship belt. He completely outclassed dricusduplessis and has since returned to his hometown, where he received a hero's welcome and overwhelming support from his countrymen in the UAE. Despite dricusduplessis accepting the loss and showing respect to his opponent, his coaches stirred attention with some sharp words. He stated that their main focus now is on fixing mistakes before rushing into another fight, as the ultimate goal is to destroy Khamzat Chimaev in a rematch. While he admits it may sound simple, stop the takedowns, get back up, and punish Chimaev, he also acknowledged that Chimaev's wrestling has improved significantly, making the task more difficult. Still, he insists their time is best spent addressing these weaknesses so they can return stronger and fully prepared to defeat him.
Saying RDR is the next fight for you guys. You wouldn't be interested in a potential contender if you had to fight a contender next?
Look, I'll rather, I'll be honest with you, instead of spending time to preparing for going to another fight camp to prepare for RDR, I would rather spend that time to fix the problem that we've got and then go into a camp. So I won't just take a fight because fights are available. I want to fix this problem because we're going to face Khamzat and I want to destroy him this time. And I know it sounds easy, man. It sounds so easy. You can just get that guy not to take you down. Or stuff his takedowns and stand back up and punish him. But he also picked up his wrestling game, so no RDR for us right now. Now I'd rather spend the time in fixing this.
Coach Morin Visser made it clear that dricusduplessis will stop at nothing to reclaim the belt. He acknowledged that critics may laugh and label Dricus as exposed, but stressed that both he and his fighter are relentless in their pursuit. Visser emphasized that their goal is the title in the very next fight, no matter what it takes. He also pointed out that fans who prefer easy, predictable matchups don't truly understand competition, and promised that Dricus will shock the world when he takes the belt back.
Watch this space, guys. You've just maybe met the worst losers ever in your life. Me and Dricus. And I'm not sleeping until we've got that belt back. I know everybody's laughing and saying how Dricus was exposed. I'm a bad loser. Dricus is a bad loser. It's going to take whatever it takes for us to get that belt back. ASAP. It's not going to be a long story. One fight in the belt. Get us back in the belt. So, to all those naysayers and all the guys who support blanket style MMA, blanket wrestling, we in the real fight game, and we'll be back again and surprise you just taking that belt.
Fans were left stunned by the coach's comments, especially given Khamzat Chimaev's dominant performance. Many felt there was no need for such statements after a decisive loss. Even before the fight, dricusduplessis' coach had spoken with extreme confidence, which fans now see as overconfidence. He claimed Khamzat had never faced an opponent who truly wanted to wrestle, suggesting all of his previous rivals only tried to escape his grappling. He boldly stated they wanted to meet him head-on, dismissing Khamzat as one-dimensional and even brushing off his striking as no threat at all.
He doesn't know what it is when people want to wrestle him. He's only facing guys who's trying to get away from his wrestling. We don't want to try to get away from his wrestling. We want to keep him up in his game. You can't think that you're going to beat my guy coming with one thing, and that's wrestling. That guy's one-dimensional. We've seen his stand-up. I won't even give him a pro license for his stand-up. He doesn't present any problem.
However, the fight told a very different story. Former champion Kamaru Usman criticized DDP's team for their careless statements and for underestimating Khamzat Chimaev. Usman explained that dricusduplessis and his camp lost because their confidence turned into arrogance, dismissing the very skills that make Khamzat so dangerous. He stressed that the weapon they overlooked is one of the most dominant tools in MMA, and ignoring it ultimately led to their downfall.
Even in the lead up is, I felt that. I don't want to say Dricus was too overconfident. I felt that even the team, with the way that they were talking, with the way that they were kind of the lack of respect for Khamzat, like, oh, yeah, you can't come beat us with just one skill. You think you're just going to beat us with one skill? That's a pretty damn important skill. You know, it's a big one to overlook.
It is.
And,
it's the best.
Kamaru Usman stated that dricusduplessis' team underestimated Khamzat Chimaev's strengths and paid the ultimate price. He explained that they believed surviving one round would be enough, but against Khamzat, you have to endure all 5 rounds, and they simply couldn't. Usman highlighted how Dricus spent the majority of 3 rounds trapped in a crucifix position with no escape, exposing the massive gap in styles and proving just how unprepared his team truly was.
Kind of overlooked, they didn't take it that serious. They felt, okay, if we survive one, we're good. But you got to survive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you just couldn't do it. I mean, he was crucified, I think 3 out of the 5 rounds. Crucified and had no answer for it. Like, it was almost like, I don't know how to get out of here. You know, it really was a big differential in
Kamaru Usman also admitted that Khamzat Chimaev manages his energy exceptionally well, pointing out that he could have finished dricusduplessis before the 3rd round. However, he explained that chasing an early finish can sometimes backfire, leaving a fighter drained in the later rounds and unable to perform at their best. Instead, Khamzat's patience and calculated approach allowed him to dominate without wasting unnecessary energy.
And even watching that, Khamzat made a lot of mistakes that I think would have got him that finish before that 3rd round. You know, he got to a position where it was just kind of so easy. It was almost him controlling himself. He had to control his own emotions. He had to control his gas tank, because that's not easy to dominate a guy like that. And everything is working because in your mind, you're wanting resistance. Resistance is how you gauge how much output I need to put out, you know. But if everything is going right, you can't gauge how much output to put out. You're just like, maybe you might try to finish in that 1st round, then you get up 2nd round, you're like, whoa, I can't even lift my arms. Why am I so...
Meanwhile, Israel Adesanya praised Khamzat Chimaev for raising the standard at middleweight, saying the division is in safe hands with him as champion. He noted that Khamzat doesn't fade in deep waters as many expect. Instead, he drains his opponents while finding extra gears late in the fight. Adesanya highlighted how Khamzat overwhelmed dricusduplessis with relentless pressure, proving he has the cardio and resilience to dominate at the championship level.
Not what I expected, but I'm glad Khamzat fixed his cardio or improved his cardio to the point where he can go 5 rounds and just ragdoll people. That's a mess. That's a mess to deal with. Because I thought DDP, okay, maybe round 4 to be able to stuff the takedowns because Khamzat would get tired, but he didn't even slow down. He slowed down DDP. He slowed him down, which is very impressive because he wouldn't finish me round 4 because I thought, okay, I got him now, but he just finds a way to get his 3rd win, 4th win. But yeah, Khamzat made sure he didn't even get the 1st win and just slaughtered him. 50-44, something crazy. Yeah, 50-44, that was crazy. So yeah, Khamzat, new middleweight champion, division's in good hands.
On the other hand, Joe Rogan reacted to the fight, saying that closing the skill gap against Khamzat Chimaev is a massive challenge for dricusduplessis. He explained that Khamzat's grappling dominance isn't just one level above, but several levels beyond anything Dricus has faced, and he simply had no answers. Rogan added that whoever Dricus trained with, it was clear he didn't bring in anyone with that caliber of skill, making the comeback and bridging that gap an enormous task. Meanwhile, heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall was equally impressed by Khamzat's dominance, praising his control from the start, his stance switches, and flawless ground positioning. Aspinall applauded the complete performance, congratulating Chimaev as the new middleweight champion while also acknowledging Dricus's toughness.
I've been thinking that this is going to be the fight of the year, so we'll see how that goes. You can now straight away on the low double. A minute into the fight, he's got the crucifix. Punches to the ear. It's working on his collie. Completely dominated in the first round. Khamzat straight on a double again, sits him down. If I was Khamzat though, I'd be trying to finish it in this spot. Once he gets them hands together from the back position like that, his grip must be unbelievable. What Khamzat's doing really well is he's switching stances a lot as well from the stand-up. In the limited stand-up that he's doing, he's keeping DDP guessing. But he's managed to reverse him. No, he's 2.5 minutes left. Don't go for no submissions or nothing like that. Don't lose position. Oh, he's got the guillotine. He's lost his position. He's popped his head straight out. Oh, last minute. He said he's got a few shots on him there though. He's got me going backwards. Go up. DDP's ended up on top with 30 seconds left. I don't think he'll have enough time to do much damage, but that's it. So a complete shot out for Khamzat Chimaev, new champion at middleweight. Congratulations to Khamzat. Commiserations to DDP.
Michael Bisping also praised the new champion, Khamzat Chimaev, the first from Chechnya to claim UFC gold. He highlighted how Chimaev completely dominated dricusduplessis from start to finish, leaving no room for doubt. Bisping pointed out that the judges' scorecards reflected total control, and he described Chimaev's performance as a flawless wipeout over his opponent.
We have got a brand new champion of the world, the first Chechen champion, because yes, Khamzat Chimaev, Boris the undefeated, went out there and absolutely ragdolled dricusduplessis from start to finish. It wasn't even close. I mean, when you look at the judges' scorecards, the scores were 50-44, 50-44 and 50-44 all across the board. Now there was a 10-8 round thrown in there. There could have been a few more 10-8s. The reality was Khamzat Chimaev went out there and just wiped the floor with him.
Michael Bisping also praised dricusduplessis for his resilience, noting that he stayed composed, focused, and never gave up throughout the fight. He highlighted DDP's persistence, especially in the 5th round when he defended a takedown, landed clean strikes, and even secured top position. However, Bisping emphasized that Khamzat Chimaev's superior wrestling ultimately allowed him to regain control and finish the fight on top.
He never gave up. Fair play to dricusduplessis. He stayed composed, he stayed focused, he didn't panic, he didn't quit, he didn't give up on himself. In between rounds at the start of the fight, he was still kind of jovial and saying, look, listen, I got this. At the end of the fight, he was still confident of getting a finish, and his best moment came at the end of the fight. In round 5, he managed to stop a takedown. He landed a couple of shots on the feet, managed to get top position, but then Khamzat Chimaev, with that freakishly good wrestling that he has, was able to turn the tide and get on top once.
Bisping explained that right from the start, Khamzat Chimaev secured an early takedown, putting dricusduplessis on the defensive. Dricus attempted to counter with a headlock and narrowly avoided a potential submission. Throughout the fight, Chimaev worked relentlessly, threatening with multiple submissions including a kimura and a rear naked choke, but DDP stayed sharp and defended well. However, much of the bout saw Dricus trapped in Chimaev's crucifix position, where Khamzat controlled him from side control, pinning one arm with his knees and trapping the other with his head, leaving a free hand to land strikes until eventually finishing the fight.
As soon as the fight started, we knew about the wrestling from Khamzat Chimaev, but it was just seconds, and I mean seconds, before Khamzat Chimaev was able to get the first takedown. Dricus hung on to a headlock. There could have been a Von Flu choke there, but he let go of it. Obviously, he was wise to that. There was a couple of kimura attempts here and there from Khamzat. Of course, he was trying to get the rear naked choke here and there as well. He was trying to get finishes. He was trying to get the stoppage. He was, but he couldn't do it because Dricus was defending. Now, Dricus spent
a lot of the time in the crucifix position. When Khamzat took him down in the first round, just within seconds he managed to get to side control, pin one of the arms down with his knees, the other hand you trap using your head, and you have the other arm free to land shots, to crack him in the face, and ultimately get the finish.
Bisping also acknowledged dricusduplessis as a great fighter, but stressed that the middleweight division now firmly belongs to Khamzat Chimaev. He warned that Chimaev's reign as champion could spell disaster for the rest of the division, given his dominance and relentless style. According to Bisping, only a handful of fighters may have a realistic chance against him, with Reinier de Ridder standing out as the most viable challenger due to his world-class jiu-jitsu and elite ground skills.
I'm not going to sit here and criticize dricusduplessis. I think he's an incredible fighter and a great champion, and he very well may be back. But right now we are living in the era of Khamzat Chimaev, and I'm telling you right now, and just like Dean Thomas said, this will be a disaster with Khamzat Chimaev as the champion. I don't mean because of what Dean Thomas said. Dean Thomas was like, he isn't going to be able to fight too frequently, he struggles to get visas and stuff like that. No, when I say this is a disaster, it's a disaster for the division, because from what I see there, ain't nobody apart from Reinier de Ridder, ain't nobody beating him. Reinier de Ridder is the only guy that has a shot because of the jiu-jitsu, because of the skills that he has off his back. Okay?
Meanwhile, there's a lot of talk that the Khamzat versus DDP fight was boring, but former UFC champion Robert Whittaker strongly disagreed. Whittaker defended dricusduplessis versus Khamzat Chimaev, saying that only casuals would label it boring after witnessing such elite dominance. He explained that Chimaev controlling a fighter as tough, relentless, and well-conditioned as Duplessis, who rarely fades and always pushes forward, was rare and highly impressive. Whittaker emphasized that this was the kind of one-sided mastery true fans should appreciate. That wraps up today's video. We hope you've enjoyed it. Share your thoughts about this matchup in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on upcoming UFC battles.